Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Lord of the Rings Online. This is Gnarlo here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlo. Good boy. When last we left off, we had completed essentially Volume 2 of the quest line, the epic line that goes through the Lord of the Rings here. We have got a number of epilogue quests to do now. If y'all remember, I will pop into it right quick. And we've pulled it up here. If you go to your deed log, it's under Class Race Epic. Go to the Epic tab, and it's Epilogue of Elves and Dwarves. There's 12 different quests here that run everywhere from the majority of them are solo. There are a couple of small fellowship and one fellowship quest here. We won't be doing those. In fact, we won't be doing any of the combat ones right now. Number one, I won't be doing the small fellowship or the fellowship ones just because of the combat involved and because of the level involved. But the others we will be doing, I want to do the storyline ones. I'm not interested. There's a couple in here, like there's a couple of solo ones in here that are stuff like go back into Dol Guldur and kill X number of orcs and smash some barrels, that sort of thing. I'm not interested in doing the little side quest. Reinforcements are coming. We must slow them down, type of thing. I want to get to the ones like the one that we got from Goldignir here, which is talk to the Bori in the Chamber of Leadership back in Moria to find out what we're going to do with Ziggelberg. Ziggelberg returned. So those are the ones we're going to do. Like I said, the first one is Ziggelberg Return, which we got from Goldignir now. And I'm now going to run. There's at least two more here in Thangolhad that I'm going to pick up. So I'm going to run and get those right quick. It used to be that... I'll show you one of them, in fact, right now. It used to be that these were actually part of the Epic line, the Epic quest line. They have since been removed from it. You no longer have to complete them as part of the Epic line. So now they are just... like I said, the epilogues. They're now listed as optional ones. But the problem with that is, too, is that you have to actually find the people who give them to you. So I have gone to the wiki to find the locations of all 12 of the quest givers, being that, and they're not all in Mirkwood either. One of them's actually over in Caras Galathon, in the heart of Lothlorien. I mean, they're scattered over several zones here, and you have to hunt them down. Now that they no longer are part of the Epic quest and they actually no longer have quests that point you to them, I don't have any problem with going to the wiki and actually finding out where the people are and finding out, so that you can do the quest.
Established a worm hatchery in Garthbors.
So that you can actually do their quest instead of having to click on every freaking NPC that you see with a ring over their head, wondering if they've got one of the epilogues here. So the first one's Ningloril. We're not going to do her quest, but I'm going to show you she is one of the ones that has an epilogue. And as you see, it's the Golden Host has assaulted the forces of Dol Guldur, so we want you to go back into the orc camps of Gathburs and defeat 15 worms, 5 orcs, and tip over the 3 barrels of goo that they're using to breed worms. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Quite a few of them are stuff like that where you're fighting back against the reinforcements. But we're going to be just doing the storyline ones that it actually advance the story. Like I said, what happens to Ziggelberg? What was the fate of Assyriel? That sort of thing. So we will move on to the next quest giver, and when we arrive there, I will be rejoining you then. We are coming up here on the Scout Lakeland. Y'all remember right over there is the elf encampment, the elf fortress that we just left out of. Came up the road. Y'all remember way back a few episodes ago where we had the 3 scouts that we had to track down and talk to. to find out what they had discovered was going on around Dol Guldur here. Lakeland was one of them. He was one of the ones we were criticizing for still being within basically sight of the cooking camps over there. So we're going to talk to him right quick. He's got one of the
An
epilogue
army
quests,
marches from the east to reinforce Dol Guldur.
and his is called Lakeland. And he talks about the reinforcements. This is another one of the combat ones that we're not going to do right now, but I thought I would show you where they are. So if you felt like doing them, here they are. We have to go back through Dol Guldur and defeat 28 orcs inside Dol Guldur. We have to find the entrance to the warg pens. We have to find the entrance to the sword hall, and we have to find the entrance to the dungeons. So once again, a whole bunch of combat to do and a whole bunch of scouting around trying to find the sword pens, the warg pens and the dungeons and etc. So we're not going to be doing that one. It's yet just another combating and kind of scouting one. So on to the next location now. All right, we're back in Thanglehead over here. We've returned from where Langland was, and now we're talking to Lunan again. Our incognito Maladrim friend here who had given us several quests. As you see, he's got a gold ring over his head. There's nothing to indicate that this is a special quest or anything, or epilogue. As you see over here, as I've said before, it's just a gold ring. You know, there's nothing that signifies that it's a special one. So unless you look up and find out where these people are, you seriously have to go around and basically right-click on everyone throughout Mirkwood to find out where Mirkwood and at least one other zone and find out where the epilogue quests are. So that's why we're not doing that. Let's see what Aluanan has to say.
It grieves me to tell you this, but Sigileth of the Hidden Guard fell during the assault.
Sigileth's knives. It grieves me to tell you this, Gnarlo, but Sigileth of the Hidden Guard fell during the assault on Dol Guldur. She fought bravely and slew countless orcs, but in the end Lankagil and Egnasagil availed her not. I retrieved them from the body of the slain Olag High at her feet. Sigileth was given to carving a notch in the hilts of her knives when one of them delivered a killing stroke. There would not be sufficient space on the hilts left following her final stand in the fortress of Dol Guldur. She desired to make a gift of the knight's knives to Lord Celeborn when the hilts were full of such marks. Will you deliver Lankagil and Egnasagil to him? It is what Sigileth would want. So we are going to take these knives back to the city of Karas Galathon and hand them to the Lord Celeborn. Oh, poor Sigileth. Another member of the Hidden Guard that has fallen in our quest here. Great warrior. Was glad to stand with her one last time inside Dol Guldur there. All right, folks, we're on to the next quest giver, and we will see you in just a little bit. All right, folks, next up we have traveled to Osgalath. If y'all remember, that is right here, the elf stronghold right here in the middle of Mirkwood. And we have two quests that can be found here. I think the first one should be right over here at the room where all the poisoning with Mazog and Isuriel happened. Yes, with Gruingalas. Here's the first one.
Someone needs to bring the word to Nuraleth that Akador has been slain.
Epilogue. Akador's fate. I'm sorry to ask this, but I cannot leave my post, and someone needs to bring the word to Nuraleth that Akador has been slain. Neither the telling nor the listening will be easy, Gnarlo, but she deserves to know what has happened. Nuraleth is in Karas Galathon on Telain Gloreloth. Be gentle with giving her the news. Her husband was slain by orcs not long ago, and now Akador too will not return from the siege of Mirkwood. So now we have to go and give news of yet another of the host members here, of the Hidden Guard members. That's Sigileth and Arkador, At least I don't think we have to give news to any one of Radier's passing. Poor Sigilith, you know, she even had a premonition. Remember, we were talking to her, and she had that dream where she dreamt she was looking at her knives, and she had the dream, the premonition that she was on a high place, and that her knives were falling into darkness and would not avail her. All right, we are headed very up to the very top of Ostgalath here again, to talk to the lady who we talked to about the poison antidote that time. And we will rejoin you when we get up there. Hey, we've reached the very top, the very pinnacle of the tower again. And we will come right over here and talk to Barvasane and see what she has to say.
There are several ingredients I need if I am to continue my work here.
Epilogue, Barvasane. Good to see you again. Spent my time refining the process of brewing of salves and balms. A location of a place with alchemical ingredients in the Dower Stocks. She wants you to travel to the Dower Stocks, into a cavern there, and collect eggshells from the various worms, glowworm slime, and a keg of aged wine, so that she can keep working on salves and balms and antidotes for the various war effort here. And that's fine, but once again, that's yet another travel into a cavern and do combat, and does not actually advance the story. So instead of doing that, we are going to travel on to the next quest giver, which I think is over there at the Ekad Sirion on the banks of the Anduin. And once again, we will see you when we get there. I was mistaken. I actually needed to come back to the Haunted Inn here, and we're going to talk to Kukaran, yet another member of the Hidden Guard.
I have had my fill of fighting.
Kukaran's bow. When this campaign ends, I will lay down my bow and depart the shores of Middle-earth. I have had my fill of fighting, but still I am intrigued by the mystery of Ottercame. What happened to this town and to its people? Scouts recently discovered some ruins among the Dower Stocks, where gaunt men roam and shades flit among the trees. I cannot leave this place until I know what connection there is between Ottercame and the ruins of Agastath. I cannot bear to leave the mystery unsolved, and to rest heavily upon my mind during the uncounted years. Travel to Agastath for me and investigate the ruins, Gnarlo. This is the only tie to these lands I have left. I have spoken with Asuria about this, but she does not agree with me. She has returned already to Karen Amroth, and there will stay in contemplation for a little while yet. So we need to travel to the ruins of Agastath, defeat 6 gaunt men, and find the connection between that and the town of Ottercame. Ottercame is the town right over here. This is another one we're not going to accept and take. It's the Woodman. Y'all have heard about the Woodmen before. They talk about them in The Hobbit. Bjorning talks about the villages of the Woodmen that are scattered along the eaves of Mirkwood and along the Great River. The Great Eagle, whenever the Great Eagles rescue them from the burning pine trees, the Great Eagles talk about how they won't fly near the Woodmen settlements because they said that the Woodmen would shoot at them with bows thinking they were stealing their sheep, and sometimes they would be right. And in Lord of the Rings, they talk about the Woodmen. The Woodmen being, whenever they capture Gollum, they said, the Woodmen told stories about a terror that came in the night, about this ghoul that climbed in their windows and stole babies out of the cribs. So this used to be a town of the Woodmen here, and of course, being in Mirkwood and unfortunately so close to Dol Guldur, it is in. That is some really weird pixelated stuff right there. I am not sure what that is, but that is a very bizarre glitch going on right there. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, this is an old woodman town, and it shows how, following the epic line, you get the epic story. But once again, talking about my regrets, the fact that so many of these zones have so many quests in them that because you're going along and you level so fast, you just never even see. We've never even crossed this bridge and gone into the town over here. And there are quite a few quests right here at the Haunted Inn and all that involve that town and the things that happened over here. This lost destroyed woodman town. And the various shades and all that float around it now. The condemned villagers. So once again, it's a shame if I ever get around to doing that LOTRO, these are the kind of things that we'll find. All these little background nooks and corners and pieces of quests that we're just not going to get to this time. So there you go. That's Cookeron. So he was one of the epilogue quests too. And now we are going to travel to the Ekkad Sirion, and we will see you there.
Megavonen.
We are back in the Ekkad Sirion, where we left so long ago when we first landed here on the shores of Mirkwood. I'll put the date up right here because I don't for sure remember how long it's been. When was it that we first landed on the shores and first started doing all the quest here in the Murkeeves to first establish our foothold and the return to Mazog and the rescue of Bori and to take the fight to the castle of the Ringwraiths there. Long time ago now. Let us go. We've got two to find here. One is Alfrimbi's. Remember, she was, I believe, the quartermaster here, if I remember correctly.
A company of orcs fled from the assault upon Dol Guldur.
Epilogue, Alfrimbi's. We have had victory for a short time, Gnarlo, and until the army from the east arrives, we must make the most of it. A company of orcs fled from the assault upon Dol Guldur, and scouts tracked them from a distance until they entered a cavern here in the Murkeeves. I fear what evils they may be up to inside the tunnels there. Enter this cavern and find out what the orcs are up to. So we have to go into the fleeing orcs, defeat all the orcs that we can, and any dangers that lurk there as well. So once again, this is one that we won't be doing, not yet anyway. It involves going to a cavern, which I think is, let's see, if we're here, I believe it is right in this area. It's somewhere along this eastern wall here, if I remember correctly. I do remember doing this one on Glenorin back in the day. I do remember doing that one. It's not a difficult one, but it is involving basically going into the cavern and hunting down all the orcs and things that are within. So one day we'll get back to it again, but it won't be today. We're trying to just advance the storyline. The other one we got is Luth over here of the Greyhammers. Let us talk to him.
My passion for slaying orcs cannot be contained by any one region in Middle-earth.
Epilogue, Greyhammers. I have told you of my hatred for the orcs, Gnarlo, and you know that no bounds can hold it. My passion for slaying orcs cannot be contained by the borders of this forest, nor by those of any region in Middle-earth. I have envisioned the grandest statement possible of my hatred for the orcs. Let them rue the many times they have crossed the Greyhammer family, and gnash their teeth in anguish that they ever did so. You will travel to every region in which an orc, goblin, or uruk has caused harm to a Greyhammer, and slay one of their kind, and you will shout, "For the Greyhammers!" as you do so. Then perhaps the orcs will know and fear my family as they should. Do this first in Mirkwood, Lothlorien, and Moria, and work your way westward in sequence. Then speak to my father Tandri in Thorin's Hall in Erid Luin, and tell him of this glorious deed. Now this one looks like a combat quest, and in a manner of speaking it is. You have to defeat an orc, goblin, or uruk in 3 different zones. But we're going to take this one. This one, I do remember it from before on Glenorin as well, and it's an interesting quest. And you only got to kill 3 of them, and you have to do it here in this zone, Lothlorien and Moria, which we'll be traveling back through anyway. So let's go ahead and take that one. All right? And I am going to travel back up the path here, see if we can find us an orc, goblin, or uruk. Being here in Mirkwood, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. There should be usually like a goblin spy right along in this area. Let's see if we can get one to pop out of hiding somewhere. I said I do remember this particular quest. There we go. We've got it. Well, that's a warg, not a goblin or anything. Wouldn't you know it? Any other time you'd be walking down that path, you would be walking down through this area and you would just be having ding goblin spies popping out of the bushes and uruk shooting arrows at you, and I would have to be going into stealthing up to keep from running into enemies and all. That's the other thing. It's a shame that talking about all the different side quests. There's some wonderful quest involving spiders and a spider queen just past those gates over there, you know? It's a shame all the quests that we have missed out on here. We will get back to them one day. We will get back to them. But once again, you know, there's so many games to play and just so many hours in a day. And I could literally spend 8 hours a day, every day of the year, playing this game. It could be a full-time job just to get through all the various raids and quests and areas and things to find and explore. And okay, we've got the ruins of the camp here. Warg scouts. Good grief, where are all these at? All right, I am going to stealth up. We're going to go wandering and see if we can't find a blasted goblin somewhere. Starting to feel like Batman in the old 1960s Batman movie when he's running along and going, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb." All right, when we find someone we can kill, I'll get back in touch with you. All right, we finally found a goblin scout here. The way that we found him, I figured the most sure way would be to simply jump on one of my horses and ride down the road until something popped out of the shadows at us. "For the Greyhammers," you cry as you defeat your foe. All right, there you go. All right, we're going to travel back over to the Ekad Sirion and head back on over to Lothlorien now. That is where the next part of the epilogue quest here will be found. And we will see you when we get back there. Lothlorien and Karas Galathon. It has been a very long time since we stood on the rivers of the Anduin here, stood on the shore of the great river and looked across at you. We're going to take the boat here, travel over to Lothlorien, and see if we can find the member of the golden host here that we are looking for. You'll notice every single one of these people that have given us these quests, that's at least one thing you can do that helps out, is that every single one of the quest givers is someone that we talked to somewhere, someone that we talked to and someone that gave us a quest somewhere along the line of the adventure here, going to Mirkwood. Here we go, Braglin. Yeah, I was hoping we weren't going to have to actually go down on the shore there. If you remember the little trysting elven lovers there that we interrupted last time, I didn't want to have that embarrassment again. All right. Bragelin is our next epilogue giver.
We must seize key locations in Dol Guldur while we may.
There he goes. You see, we want a victory for now, but we need to go in and take these strategic objectives before the reinforcements arrive. And it seize the warg pens, seize the sword hall, and seize the dungeons. So it's like the other guy, Laglin, had us going in there and finding them, and we come back here, and Bragelin wants us to go in there and seize them. So this one is actually a small fellowship. So once again, not going to do this one, but wanted to show you where we can find them. All right. We are getting close to the end of our searching here. The next ones that we are looking for are going to be in Karas Galathon. And let's not ride that one. Let's put on our burglar horse. Are going to be in Karas Galathon and Karen Amroth. So we are going to head over there now. Ride through the lovely, under the lovely boughs and dappled sunlight of Lothlorien. And we will see you once again when we arrive there. We are running up the hill to Karen Amroth now, where it's always February 15th. We're going to see if we can seek a cereal up at the very top. Y'all remember where it is? We're right up here. We're just north of Karas Galathon, here in the heart of Lothlorien. Let's go to the flet up top where we find Legolas and we find Gimli. And here's a cereal, the scholar. Let's talk to our dear lady one more time. How are you feeling?
There is still much to be done.
I am feeling much more like myself now, thanks to your actions and those of Broin. But this victory is bittersweet, for not all the friends that set out for the fortress of the Nazgul returned from that place. The grief is not easily forgotten. Always it is so. We will not forget the fallen.
There is still much to be done.
No, we will not, but it does not make our losses any easier to bear. No, it does not.
The effects of the Guigile poison are now just a memory.
Isuriel's flower. Thank you for coming to see me, Gnarlo. I have spent many days in restful peace here in Karen Amroth, and it has done me a great deal of good. The effects of the Guigile poison are now just a memory, and the spells of weakness have passed. Isuriel pauses for a moment and seems unable to meet your gaze. I do not regret my decision to do without the Ladris antidote, Gnarlo. Events unfolded differently than we thought they would, but I could not let the mission end in failure because of my own selfishness. Radir did not have the choice I did, nor did Sigilith. Only Arkador seems to have understood what I came to know, that I would have closed my eyes forever if it meant the death and loss of what happened to that point would have had a reason, that it would have mattered. Still, I am grateful for the actions of Broin. I have picked a beautiful flower from the slopes of Karen Amroth. Would you bring it to him in Moria with my good wishes and my thankfulness? I understand he is recovering in the peaceful path along Durin's Way. So we have to take the Eleanor blossom to Broin in the peaceful path. And that we will certainly gladly do. All right, now we are going to be traveling into the heart of Karas Galathon itself. Which means we've got to travel all the way back around to the gates down here on the southern part. I was actually just reading this part in the Lord of the Rings last night. Sitting reading the part where Gimli and them get blindfolded and have to go into have to be led into the woods of Lothlorien, and sure enough they came here to the hill of Karen Amroth, and then got led further down toward the great city itself of Karas Galathon. And he talked about how it would not be Haldir told them it would not be a short journey, for it was a great city and the gate was on the southern side. So we will travel back down there, and when we reach the gate, and go on into the city, we will rejoin you.